Hello, hello. Welcome to this video. In this video, we are talking about how it's all connected. So, if this is something that you've been curious about, how your trauma is affecting everything in your life, stay tuned and let's dig into it. Hello, hello. My name is Emily Claycorn, and I am a trauma recovery coach. Today, in this video, we are talking about how your trauma is connected to all the things: physical health, emotional health, spiritual health, all of the things. So, if you're not familiar with my story, I'm going to give you a brief background so that you can understand that I'm speaking from my own experience and not just pulling things out of the sky and making up stuff. So, I grew up in a very traumatic, I had a very traumatic childhood, and um, I struggled with my health quite a bit uh, from, well, pretty much my entire life. So I had asthma as a child. And then as I grew older, I had hormone problems. Um, I was on birth control pills for over 10 years and until they started giving me a negative side effect. And you can read more um, about my health struggles in the blog that's in the description of this video, or you can click it here. So my healing, where I began to realize that all the things are connected, was after having a miscarriage. So I talked briefly about this in the blog, but I was going to see a doctor who was in an attempt to figure out why I was having such difficulty conceiving. This doctor kept brushing me off, kept telling me that everything was normal when clearly there were things going on that they were missing or they were choosing to ignore. Until I got fed up and started doing my own research and started tracking my own body to figure out what my baseline was, and creating connecting some dots for myself. Eventually, I discovered that I was having anovulatory, I have such a hard time saying that word, anovulatory cycles, meaning that I wasn't ovulating each month, which is pretty important when you're trying to get pregnant. So, um, their solution for this was to put me on a medication that would essentially put my body in a headlock and force it to do what it wasn't doing. Um, and this didn't end well. It actually ended in a pregnancy loss. And when I reported the pregnancy loss, I was neglected. I was told to just keep going as I was, and I wasn't cared for. This made me very, very angry as a woman who just had a miscarriage to be treated this way by my medical professional. So I was done. I vowed that I was never going to see that doctor again, and I began a search. This was the straw that broke the camel's back and the turning point in my story. So from there, I found a naturopath who, in our very first session together, explained to me, after listening to a very in-depth conversation or in-depth telling of my history, and not just my medical history, but the whole story. Okay? They listened to me and they connected the dots. So I was abused as a child, physically, emotionally, sexually, every just about every way that a person can be abused. I was abused. And they connected the dots for me, and they explained the way that trauma affects you as an individual. So trauma is an outside source of stress. Okay? It's somebody's behavior and your internal experience to that stress. Okay? Now, your body is designed to experience stress. And it's created very, very intelligently, geniusly, to experience stress. And your central nervous system knows how to handle stress in small doses. A traumatic childhood where you're experiencing trauma and stressful situations, be it you don't know when somebody's going to flip their lid, you don't know where your next meal is coming from, things are uncertain, you don't know when so and so is going to explode. It causes a lot of stress. Okay. And that constant low level stress, or maybe it's high level, maybe you're walking on eggshells all of the time. That constant income of stress causes your body to get stuck in fight or flight. Your sympathetic nervous system gets stuck in the on position. And that's not good. Okay, so when your fight or flight response is activated, your body is focused on survival. It doesn't want to die. So it wants to stay alive. Okay? In order for your body to stay alive, many, 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 many years ago, you, cave person, relied on the hormone cortisol to survive, to run away from whatever it was that was a threat. Now, your body, as geniusly as it is made, does not know the difference between a bear chasing you or someone yelling. Your body produces cortisol to protect itself, to survive, and it can't tell the difference. Stress is stress. Your body can't differentiate between what kind of stress it is. So as a child, we didn't have the tools we needed to deal with that stress. We didn't understand that our situation was not our fault. Okay, the way maybe our parents or caregivers, the way they were acting, the how they were treating us had very little to do with us. Okay, we just internalize what's going on in our surrounding, and our cortisol level gets super, super high. What you need to know is that when cortisol is being produced in your body, digestion slows to almost a stop. So have you ever eaten food, had a meal or whatever, when you were stressed out and the food just sat like a brick in your stomach? That's because your body was not digesting. All of the blood that usually warms up your gut so that it can do what it needs to do is in your arms and legs so that you can run like the Billy Dickens from whatever is chasing you, even if nothing is chasing you. Just the way your body works. Anyway, so after years and years and years and years and years of your body being stuck in this stressed out fight or flight state, it starts to have an impact on the rest of your physical health. When cortisol is in high production, reproductive hormones are not in high production because fertility or reproduction is not a function that is needed for survival. Okay? Digestion is not necessarily a function that is needed for immediate survival. So your digestive system gets sluggish, you're using up extra vitamins and minerals that your body has in storage to digest the food, and eventually you don't have excess vitamins and minerals. So all of these things play a part in how your body and your physical health function when you've got emotional stress, environmental stress coming at you constantly. One thing that I desperately needed to do was to learn how to regulate my nervous system. And this was especially important when I entered and began the transition into my mamahood. I'm not sure if I've said this in other videos or not. My memory is not the greatest at times. But mamahood was incredibly triggering for me. And so I've had to develop an action plan for myself to use on the fly wherever I am when a stressful situation comes up, so that I can go from way up here to down here and level-headed with ease in 5 seconds or less. If it's really, really stressful, it might take longer. But I know I have the tools in my back pocket to use whenever I need them. And I've put these tools that I use into a free resource that you can download. It's called Trauma Mama's Action Plan to Navigating Your Triggers. And it's an easy 5-step action plan that you use in those stressful situations to help you navigate it. So you can download that in the description of this video. It is absolutely free, and you can access it in the link below, like I said. That is all for this video, my friends. I hope that you found value. If you did, please hit the subscribe button, like, and share the video with anyone who would benefit, because I'm all about creating a community of people who are lifting each other up. So please hit the subscribe button, the like, thumbs up button, and the bell so you get notifications, because I go live here on my channel every week on Thursdays with a new episode of the Mamahood After Trauma podcast.